Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Emergency Management Associates. We're coming to you from the Area Command, 392 miles west of Kitty Hawk Beach, North Carolina. I want to ask everybody to please subscribe to this channel. It's very important if you want to continue getting up-to-the-minute information about emergencies, disasters, and disaster preparedness. Please subscribe to this channel. Also, while I'm doing this channel, if you enjoy what we're doing on this channel, please give us a thumbs up. That's very much appreciated. Okay? Now, I want to give you some up-to-date information about something that happened last night. Okay? Last night, YouTube went and took down our program for viewing from last night. They took it down. If you wanted to watch last night's program that we did involving Charlie Kirk's memorial service, you can't do it. It's not available. They took it down. Why did they take it down? Because they don't want us talking about politics. Unfortunately, they don't want us to talk about politics at all. So they took it down. Now, all I'm asking you to do right now is please go over to our YouTube channel and go over to posts. Go over to posts. It used to be called community page. Over to our post and leave us a comment that you enjoy our programming, you want us to stay on the air and give up to the minute information about emergencies and disasters and other programming. Otherwise, YouTube's going to take it down. Okay, they're going to continue taking this programming down. Yes, I understood yesterday's program was not an emergency. I understand that. But I had a huge contingent of people that asked me to broadcast last night's program, so I did. And yes, last night's program was a long program, about 5 hours of programming. Okay, but I want to do that for you. I want to do it for a lot of people. I had over 200 people that watched that program. We had over 200 people that watched that program. That must have been important, right? I think it was. I absolutely believe it was important because people wanted to watch it. And now YouTube's taken it down because they believe nobody should watch it. That's basically it. They don't want anybody to watch our programming. They've played with our programming before and they continue to do it. This is the thumbnail page that I put on that program last night. But again, it's been taken down off our programming. It's no longer there. But I want to make sure you guys understand what's going on in case you saw it missing and you wanted to watch it again or watch portions of it. Okay? Now, with that said, a lot of people have been watching things. A lot of people have been keeping up with what's going on. Now, this program was highly technical. Okay? There were a lot of politicians that spoke at that memorial service yesterday. A lot of politicians spoke at the memorial service. Now, this memorial service that we broadcast last night, Miss Erica Kirk wrote that program. Erica Kirk asked for those speakers to speak. That's why we did it. That's exactly why we did it. Erica Kirk planned that memorial service for her husband. Charlie Kirk, her husband, was very instrumental in helping President Trump get elected. Now, there have been a lot of things that have been going on since Charlie Kirk was shot, since he lost his life. Prior to that, Charlie Kirk helped President Trump. And that's one of the reasons President Trump agreed to speak at Charlie Kirk's funeral. Vice President Vance had helped Charlie Kirk get elected to the Senate. So he was there also talking. Benny Johnson of YouTube fame was also on the program because Benny Johnson had been helped by Charlie Kirk to get started on YouTube. So you can see how this went from one politician to the next, to the next, to the next. Charlie Kirk was influential in a lot of people's lives. A lot of people's lives. As a result, he was hated. That hatred's going on and on and on. YouTube didn't like me broadcasting that program. They took it down off my playlist because this reason here. Let me read to you the reason they took it down. Unreal. Your video has been blocked and could no longer be played on YouTube. This is not a copyright strike. It does not affect your channel. Really? It's not a copyright strike, but I can't play the video and nobody else can either. Interesting. Doesn't affect my channel. Now, I went and filed a complaint on YouTube. Why did I file a complaint? Because I believe I was wronged with that video being taken down. So I filed a complaint. Well, guess what? Now, because I have filed the complaint, YouTube has also said something else. Okay? They're going to dock me. They're going to dock me. Okay? That program is being disputed by me. Okay? Now, I said that the video does not infringe on anyone's copyright, which is true. Doesn't infringe on anybody's copyright. I've not received any foul information from any company or any other YouTube channels. Not from Fox News, not from Right Side Broadcasting, nothing. But YouTube's still blocking it. Okay? Now, this is something else that YouTube said. As a result of my filing the dispute may result in termination of my YouTube channel. Okay? So what they're saying is if they don't like the reason I disputed it, which is exception to copyright, such as fair use or fair dealing. I used the programming that I used as fair use, news programming. And YouTube still can take my channel down because I filed a complaint. That's unreal. That's unreal. If you don't like what YouTube's doing, they're going to file a complaint against me and they can take my channel down. It's wild. Totally wild. I'm broadcasting right now because I believe I have a job to do. I have a job to do because all of you want me here on the air and want to know about earthquakes and such. That's exactly what we're doing. Okay? Tonight's program is all about earthquakes tonight. Okay? Yes, I talked about last night's programming because YouTube challenging me. Insane. Hurricane Heather is asking me, when is this supposed to happen? They've already taken my channel down. That is why I filed a complaint against YouTube taking it down. But I don't know when or if YouTube is going to take my channel down completely. They took the video from last night down off my playlist so nobody can see it. They've already done that. But they have not said when they're going to take this program down. All they said that they could take it down because I filed the complaint. If they think that I filed the complaint fraudulently, they can take off my program completely again. They did this one other time because I talked about COVID. I had 25,000 subscribers. They took my channel down then. This is just one more item that YouTube has in their back pocket where they can take my channel down again. I just wanted to give you an idea of what's happening. Okay? It's unfortunate. It's unfortunate. My buddy and mod here on this channel, Don Patoka, said, Ron, they no like you. You're right. Time for a new platform. Now, for those of you that are here watching this program today, and anybody else that may watch it on replay, if my channel gets taken down, you'll find me on Rumble. About 2 years ago, after I was first taken down, I established a Rumble channel. You can go over there and look at Emergency Management Associates on Rumble. If you don't find me here, you can go over to Rumble and find me on Emergency Management Associates. I'm just giving you the heads up. Because if they take me down now, I will go over there. Aveyah says, do you think it's because I preach the gospel? Yes. That's just part of it. That's just part of it. I broadcast the gospel of Jesus Christ, and that funeral last night, that memorial service, was all about Jesus Christ. All about Jesus Christ. Unreal. They want to have complete control. They want to have complete control. That's what's going on. So guys, I just ask you all, please give us a thumbs up if you enjoyed this video today. Also, please go over to our post page on this channel and tell us why you like this channel. And YouTube's going to see it. YouTube will see it. That you guys support this channel, you want it to continue. Okay? Anyway, does anybody have any questions what I just explained to you about? Sig Sauer is here in the chat. I want to thank Sig Sauer for helping us and supporting our work here. And Sig Sauer has given us some PayPal donations during the past month, and I want him again to know how much we appreciate him. Thank you so much for that. Okay. He says his job complains when he asks questions or says something about the ridiculous control. That's exactly what YouTube's doing. They want complete control. Complete control. Insane. Insane. William says, we'll fight it, Ron. We'll fight it. Anyway, guys, I want you to know what's going on. I want, just in case something happens. Okay? Robin, thank you for that. You love my channel. It's awesome. Anyway, guys, I want to talk about earthquakes tonight. I'm going to go over to the USGS map here. I'm going to take down a webcam. I'm also going to take down our banner for right now. I want you to know what's going on. When we talked about the North American craton, it's the entire continent that we live on. Okay? The entirety of Canada, the entirety of the mainland United States, including Alaska, the North American craton. Okay? That says a lot right there. But that doesn't end there. That doesn't end at all. Okay? Let's go and talk about the world right now. Okay? Now, I've gone back over here and brought this part of the world up here, just southeast of the Kamchatka Peninsula. We've had several large earthquakes today. This earthquake that I've highlighted down here to the south is a 4.5 earthquake. This is 6.2 miles deep, 10 kilometers deep. Going north here, this is the largest earthquake of the bunch. This is a 5.5 earthquake. 5.5 earthquake, also 6.2 miles deep, 10 kilometers deep. That's a 5.5, and this is a 5.6 here. This earthquake just happens to be 19.6 kilometers deep. Going north, right next to each other. Literally right next to each other. This is a 4.7 earthquake here, 6.2 miles deep. This is a 5.0, 6.2 miles deep, as I highlighted. But this is a 4.5 earthquake, 44 kilometers deep. Further out here in the ocean, okay, to the north, this is a 4.8. All of these fours are moderate earthquakes. 4.0 to 4.9 are moderate earthquakes. 5.0 to 5.9 are large earthquakes. The largest earthquakes of the bunch here were a 5.5 and a 5.6. This is a 5.5 and this is a 5.6 right next to it. Those are the largest of the bunches. We've had a lot of fives as I have explained these to you. Again, these are aftershocks. These are aftershocks. These are swarms of aftershocks. Okay? Last week on Friday, we had another 7.8 earthquake, aftershock. The 7.8 earthquake was an aftershock of an 8.8, 9.4 earthquake that happened a month ago. 8.8, 9.4 earthquake a month ago, and we're going to have aftershocks for months and even years. Months and even years. We've seen this all around the United States and all around the world. Whenever we have a 9.0 earthquake anywhere, it causes these aftershocks for weeks, months, and years afterwards. That's going to happen. That's going to continue to happen. Now that's the Kamchatka Peninsula here. Again, all of these are aftershocks and a result of major earthquakes. Now that the first one was first and the last one, the first one 8.8, 9.4, and the 7.8 earthquake the other day were plate ruptures. Complete plate ruptures, separations of the plate. Okay, the Pacific plate is a plate out here. The plate that the Kamchatka Peninsula sits on is the obtuse plate. The obtuse plate. Complete plate separation here. That's why we have these earthquakes. The Pacific plate is subducting underneath the obtuse plate. The Pacific plate is subducting under the obtuse plate here. But there's complete plate separation because of these earthquakes. Okay, that's what's happened there. Let's go south here. This earthquake down here in the northern Philippines off of Luzon Island, Philippines here. This is a 4.6 earthquake here. A 4.6 earthquake here. This is also 33 kilometers deep. 30 miles northeast of Nanamak, Philippines. Luzon, Philippines here. Okay, this is a 4.6 or this, not 4.6, I'm sorry. They keep taking my earthquakes down here. This is a 4.6 earthquake. I don't believe anybody felt this earthquake on land. Okay, the ocean waters have absorbed the shock waves of these quakes. It's far enough away from the island here that nobody felt this earthquake. Okay, it's not the only earthquake here in the Philippines either. USGS would have us believe that this is the only one. It's not. We have more earthquakes over here off the northeast shore of Mindanao, Philippines, which is the largest island of the Philippines here. Here we have more earthquakes here off the northeast coast. Okay, now let me back out here. Okay, now we are in Indonesia. The USGS is having us believe, would have us believe that we're only having 2 earthquakes here. Down in the Banda Sea here. This is a 4.7 in the Banda Sea here. This is 87 kilometers deep. Not a big deal. Shouldn't be a big deal at all. But right next to it, This is the large earthquake here, 71 kilometers deep, 132 miles west of Tuol, Indonesia. Again, nobody felt these earthquakes because they were out in the Banda Sea, and the ocean waters have absorbed the shockwaves of these quakes. Okay, but these are not the only two quakes here. 42 earthquakes here in Indonesia today. It's a very sad day that USPS would have us try to have us believe there's only two quakes when there's actually 42 quakes here. They do this all the time. This should be nothing new to us at all. Should be nothing at all. Let's go over here to the Mariana Trench here. This is a 5.0 earthquake here, large earthquake. This happens to be 9.3 miles deep. 9.3 miles deep. Now look at this. Okay, this earthquake is over here in the lower Mariana Trench area. To the north up here, okay, we have Guam, U.S. territory of Guam. Okay, now guess what? Guess what, guys? This earthquake is approximately 280 miles south of Guam here. Again, nobody felt this earthquake because it was out in the ocean here. Nobody felt it at all. The ocean waters absorbed the shockwaves of these quakes. But because of this being here, we probably are going to see more earthquakes here in Guam. We're probably going to see more earthquakes over here near Guam, probably during the next week. I just want to point that out to you. Okay? We've also had earthquakes over here in southeastern Australia. USPS is not showing us any earthquakes here. What a joke. What a joke. They have earthquakes here all the time. Whether they be tremors or regular 2.0 to 10.0 earthquakes. No, we have not seen 10.0 earthquakes here yet. And that's a big yet. Guess why? This is a huge subduction zone. A huge subduction zone, guys. It's a big deal. A very big deal. Why do I say that? Because guess what? Let's pull out of here. I shouldn't even say guess what. Going all the way over here into New Zealand. Okay? Over on the North Island of New Zealand, we have an earthquake here. A 4.2 moderate earthquake here on the very part of the North Island of New Zealand here. A 4.2 earthquake. You see where the earthquake faults here are? These are the edge of the plates down here to the south. These are the edges of the plates here. That's why we have earthquakes here. But we have 7 different tectonic plates that range over here in the Samoan, Tongan Islands, down into Australia, New Zealand area, going over here to Vanuatu, Legacy Islands here, Solomon Islands, all the way over here in Indonesia and Australia, all the way up here into Philippines and Japan, all the way over here into Myanmar, Burma area here. It's called Myanmar now, okay? All of this area is subduction area. 7 different tectonic plates moving here. 7 different tectonic plates moving throughout this whole area. That's why we continue to have earthquakes. About 5 years ago, I had someone from the Indonesia area send me an email. Ask me, Ron, why do we have so many earthquakes here in Indonesia? The answer is simple. You have 7 different tectonic plates throughout this region. Each one of these plates are subducting. Each one of these plates are one subducting under the other here. That's why we have earthquakes here. Okay? As I said, Look here in Australia. They want us to believe they don't have earthquakes here. Guess what? They do. They pretty much do. Let me show you this. Central Australia. This is a 3.09 earthquake. 3.09 earthquake here. There's another one. Northern Australia. This is a 3.15 earthquake. That's a 3.15 earthquake. So we have two small earthquakes here in Australia. USGS doesn't show any. Fascinating. Fascinating. They want us to believe they don't have earthquakes. They want us to believe there are only two earthquakes over here in Indonesia. Fascinating idea, but as I said before, there's over now 42 earthquakes here. Here in Indonesia, 42. We have 20 plus earthquakes over here in northern Sumatra. 20 plus earthquakes here in northern Sumatra. Then down here in central Indonesia here, going up in the Philippines, we have another 12 more. As well as all the other earthquakes that are showing here on the map already. Over 42 earthquakes here in Indonesia. They want us to believe there's only two. Insane. That's insane, guys. That's just insane. Now, look at the earthquakes over here in China. Let's take a look at this, okay? Hubei, China. This is a 4.7 earthquake here. 4.7 moderate earthquake. Let's go south. Myanmar again. Myanmar. 3.15 earthquake here. Again, they're not showing this here on the map, are they? They're not showing it on the map. They're not showing anything. 3.1 earthquake in Myanmar. Here's another 2.7. And one more earthquake here. This is a 2.5. Three earthquakes in Myanmar. One over in northwestern China. Fascinating. But look at that earthquake fault coming out of Indonesia. Look at the earthquake fault coming out of Indonesia. It goes up here into northeastern India and goes over into the Himalaya Mountains here. Right here. This is a 3.2 earthquake here. Northeastern Himalaya Mountains. Okay? Down here to the south. Northern India. On the southern foothills of the Himalaya Mountains, we have another 3.0 earthquake. They're not showing that either. In the Himalaya Mountains itself, we have a 2.5. 2.5. They're not showing any of this, are they? Heavens no. Heavens no. They're not showing anything over here in Afghanistan. Remember Afghanistan, guys? A couple of weeks ago, we had a 6.1 earthquake here in Afghanistan. Jalalabad, Afghanistan. There's more than that. Look at this. 4 earthquakes here. Why am I talking about this? Because, folks, these are all aftershocks of that 6.1 very, very shallow earthquake. 6.1, very strong, shallow earthquake. Okay? Over here in Afghanistan, 3.7. Going north, 3.5, 3.8. One more just north of that. This is a 3.9, 4.0 earthquake here. 3.9, 4.0 earthquake here. Again, USPS doesn't want us to believe anything. Oh, everything's fine. Nothing's happening. Nothing's happening. I want to take us over here to northwestern Turkey. Northwestern Turkey, look at this. We had a 5.5 earthquake here the other day, last week. Guess what? We have more today. We have more today. USPS would have us believe there's only one 4.6 earthquake. One 4.6 earthquake. Look at this. We have over 200 earthquakes there right here. Over 200 earthquakes. So again, USGS is lying through their teeth. Lying through their teeth. Over in the Aegean Sea. Over here in the Aegean Sea, we have more earthquakes here. Why? Because we have magma going beneath the surface of the water. We have magma going through the concourse of volcanic chambers down here underneath the ocean. Magma coursing through these volcano chambers to try to find an outlet where it can erupt. Okay, down here to the south, just north of Crete, Greece. This is the 2.4 earthquake here. Going up here to the northwest. This is a 2.7 earthquake here. These islands here in the Aegean Sea belong to Greece. They're called the Dokanese Islands. The Dokanese Islands. Further over here to the west, in the center of the Aegean Sea, this is a 1.4 tremor here. 1.4 tremor. Further south, another one here. This is a 1.9, 2.0 earthquake here. 1.9, 2.0 earthquake there. There's more. Further up here to the north, a 3.5. Now, earlier this year, we started seeing these earthquakes in the Aegean Sea here. At first, the authorities here in Greece thought that these were magma trying to erupt in volcanoes here. They thought there was magma here going to erupt at these volcanoes. They were right. USGS at the time said no, these are due to earthquake faults. They said these were due to earthquake faults down here in the undersea part of the Aegean Sea. Yes, there are 2 earthquake faults down here. But after they did satellite mapping with underground penetrating radar, guess what? They found it wasn't earthquakes at all, but it was quakes caused by magma coursing through the underground magma chambers, and it's fracturing rock inside the magma chambers, causing these earthquakes. It's moving. It's going to continue. It's going to continue for some time now. Now, I want to come over here. I'm going to enlarge this map so you can see it. Earthquakes started down here. They start down here. There is a volcano over here. This island in the middle of this port here. The island that's in the middle of this huge harbor here just happens to be a volcano. The summit of the volcano here. That's why we had earthquakes here. That's why we had earthquakes here. And people that live here are dependent on tourist dollars. They thought that this volcano was going to pop. There were 4.5, 5.0 earthquakes here at the time. They are still getting, some of the time, small 3.0, 3.2 earthquakes here, as you referenced in the earthquake just north of here. 2.9, 3.0, 3.5 earthquakes north of here. There's still magma down here. There's still magma coursing through the ground here. And at some point in time, yes, we will have a volcanic eruption here. It could happen over on one of the islands here, because each one of these islands are a result of volcanic action. Magma down beneath the surface erupting. Or we could have a huge eruption here and a new island, the creation of a new island here in the Aegean Sea. It's happened before, it could happen again. I just want to give you a heads up about what's happening here. We're having a lot of earthquakes here. Let's go over here to Greece here, mainland Greece. We have close to 40 earthquakes here in Greece. Close to 40 earthquakes. USGS would have us believe, oh, nothing's going on. Nothing's going on. Close to 30, 35, 40 earthquakes here. Okay? Down here near Athens. This is a 1.4 tremor here. Just north of there, 1.8. Just northeast of there is another 1.3. These are all tremors here. They're all tremors. Not all of these are tremors. We have some 2.8, 3.2, and 3.5 earthquakes here in Greece. All over Greece here. Nearly 40 earthquakes here in Greece. Let's go down into southern Italy and Sicily. Okay, let's back this map out and go over Italy and Sicily. They're not showing anything here. Guess what? We have a lot of earthquakes here. A lot of earthquakes. Over just south of Sicily, this is a 1.8 tremor here. Okay? Over on Sicily, this is a 1.3 tremor there as well. These are tremors. Nobody's going to feel these quakes. Nobody's going to feel these. But now we go out towards Stromboli volcano in the ocean here, just north of Sicily. This is a 2.0 earthquake here. Over by Stromboli volcano. Interesting. Just south of Mount Etna. South of Mount Etna, we have a 2.6 earthquake here. Southern Italy. This is a 1.5 tremor here. Okay. Small swarm of earthquakes down here in the toe of the boot. Let's go north. Calabria, Italy. A 0.8 microquake. Going further north here. Campania, Italy. 0.3. We're not done. We're not done. See where Naples is here? Let's take a look at this area around Naples. Okay? I believe we need to see what's happening here. See Salerno? See where Naples is? We've got a volcano, don't we? We absolutely do. This volcano is steaming. This volcano is steaming. It's Vesuvius volcano. Over here by Naples, we have a 1.0 tremor. But I'm told by these people that we have more than that. We have 6 other earthquakes happening here. They're not just tremors. They are minor earthquakes and small earthquakes here. These smaller earthquakes are being felt, not the minor, but the smaller earthquakes are being felt. Incredible. I have friends down there right now. Now, let's back away from this. Let's go further north here. Right up in this area here. Look at this, guys. We've been having swarms of earthquakes in this area for quite some time. Well over a year. With swarms of earthquakes, we usually see a 5.0 or larger earthquake happen within a short time. That's what happened last year. But the swarms have continued, and we have not had any large earthquakes as a result yet. But swarms of earthquakes usually mean we're going to have large earthquakes. Okay? We have 11 earthquakes right here. These range in size from 1.01 to 2.2. But north of there, north of this, guess what? We have 20 plus earthquakes here. 20 plus earthquakes there. Why are they not reporting it? Those earthquakes range in size from minor tremors, 1.2, 1.5, 1.7, all the way up to 3.7, 4.2 earthquakes. Yeah, that's what's going on. But heaven forbid our agency talks about it. It's literally, Italy is under literally a siege of earthquakes. Under siege of earthquakes. And they have a possible volcano that could possibly erupt over here off the southeast coast, just south of Naples. Again, they're not showing hardly anything going on here in northern Italy, and that's pretty much the case. But over in the Alps Mountains, north of that, the northern Italian Alps here, we have a 0.7 microquake. Just north of there, this is Switzerland, the foothills of the Swiss Alps. That's a 1.4 tremor. Further north, one more earthquake here. Bourgogne, France. 2.1 earthquake here. Then let's go further south. Let's go further south. This is just north of the Spain-France border. Just north of the Spain-France border here. You see Barcelona? The border of France and Spain here, over near the coast. We have a 2.0 and a 2.2 earthquake right there. Then over at the border, we have a 1.6. That's typical. That's typically what we see here, a 1 point something and a 2.0 earthquake. The 2.0s are already there over in southern France. We see 2 more earthquakes up here to the north. Okay? This Nouvelle, France. This is the 2.2 earthquake. Just barely north of there is another 2.3. Now you might ask, Ron, why are we seeing these minor earthquakes here in France or anywhere else? I want to show you these because the United States Geological Survey is not showing them. Yes, they will show occasionally an earthquake, but they're not showing any of these. Europe is moving. The continent of Europe is moving. I want you to be aware of it because we're going to have another large earthquake here. I can't say major earthquake quite yet, but it's going to happen. It's going to happen. Let's go over here to southwestern France. This is a 2.1 earthquake here. 2.1 earthquake here in southwestern France. Right up here. 2.1 earthquake there. Okay. It's not over. It's not over. Let's go over to southern Spain. Good old southern Spain. We're not supposed to see any earthquakes here. There are. Over here in northeastern Spain. Northeastern Spain. 1.0 tremor here. Further to the south, along the southeastern shores, more earthquakes. More earthquakes. That's a 1.7. Further south, 1.9, 2.0 earthquake there. Over towards the Strait of Gibraltar in Spain. Montenegro, Spain. 1.7 tremor there. Now you can see this earthquake fault out between Spain and Morocco there. Between Spain and Morocco. We have two earthquakes there. There just happens to be an earthquake fault. USGS not showing it here. Sometimes they do and sometimes they don't. Earthquake fault. This same fault comes out of Turkey. This same fault originates in Turkey and winds its way over here. Two earthquakes. A 1.9 and a 3.7 earthquake there. 1.9 and a 3.7 earthquake there. Interesting. But it's not over. Someone said it's not over until the fat lady sings, and I haven't heard the fat lady sing yet. Not yet. Let's go over here to the Azores. Let's go over here to the Azores right there. This is a 2.1 earthquake right there. 2.1 minor earthquake there. Down in the Canary Islands. The Canary Islands, guys. We haven't shown the Canary Islands in a while. We have 3 earthquakes in the Canary Islands. A 1.8 and 1.7 right here. 1.8, 1.7 tremor right there. It's not all. It's not all. Literally, right next to the volcano. Right next to the volcano is a 1.8 tremor. As I said before, these islands were made by volcanoes. The islands were made by volcanoes, and we have earthquakes here because there is magma down beneath these islands. There's magma down beneath these islands, guys. Okay? It's not done. It's not done. The fat lady hasn't sung yet. The fat lady hasn't sung yet. I don't believe it's going to happen anytime soon. But the fat lady hasn't sung. Let's go over here in Iceland. Good old Iceland. See that volcano there under ice? Parts of Iceland never see any snowmelt. Parts of it see snowmelt. Other than that, there are still glaciers on Iceland. Guess what? Underneath that glacier is a volcano. Underneath that glacier is a volcano. It's called the Gotabunga volcano. The Gotabunga volcano. We have a 2.0 earthquake there. Earthquakes in Iceland. They're still happening. USGS not giving them much idea what's happening. They're not going to show it. They're not going to show it. Let's go over here in northeastern Canada, right here. Finally, the USGS is showing some earthquakes, but not much. Not much. Heaven forbid they show earthquakes here. Right here. I want to show you this. Cape Breton. Cape Breton. This is a 3.09 earthquake there. Small 3.09 earthquake. It's not done. It's not done. Let's go inland here. Let's go inland here. We have another earthquake here. This is a 1.38 tremor. .38 tremor. Interesting. Interesting. They are showing one earthquake here near Ottawa. This is a 2.8 earthquake here. 2.8 earthquake. But they're not showing two other earthquakes here. This is a 1.16 tremor there. Over near Ottawa. Another one further south, it's a 1.9 2.0. Eastern Canada is also moving. Eastern Canada is also moving. 1.0 and larger, 2.0 and larger here in Eastern Canada. Fabulous, isn't it? This quake here is a 1.9 2.0 quake. Minor earthquake. This is Maine. Lymington, Maine. A 2.0 earthquake. 2.0 earthquake here in Lymington, Maine. Then we go further south here to the East Coast. Tennessee. Good old Tennessee here. This earthquake is over here on the southern Blue Ridge Mountains. The southern Blue Ridge Mountains out to the western foothills of the Blue Ridge Mountains here in Tennessee. Guess what? This is a 1.6 tremor here. 1.6 tremor here, Tellico Plains, Tennessee. Okay? Then I want to take you over to the New Madrid Fault. This is where we begin to talk about the New Madrid Fault, guys. The New Madrid Fault is moving. Not because the USGS says so, but I'm going to show you seismograms showing you what's going on. Over here in Missouri. Look at this. Morriston, Missouri. Fabulous. 1.5 tremor here in Morriston, Missouri. A 1.5 tremor here. They're showing us two 1.5 tremors. Guess what? There are a lot more than that. There are a lot more earthquakes than that. Earthquakes across the entire United States, including Oklahoma, Texas, New Mexico, going over into Utah, Nevada, all over California, from Southern California up to Northern California, over to the San Andreas Fault off the coast of Northern California. We also have another earthquake off the coast of Oregon. Real briefly. They're not showing it here. Earlier today, we had a 2.5 earthquake off the Blanco fracture zone right here. This perpendicular fault zone here running from the southeast to the northwest. It's called the Blanco fracture zone, an earthquake fault. This Blanco fracture zone is part of the Cascadia subduction zone region. The Cascadia subduction zone region. Down here on the southeast end of that fracture zone, earlier today we had a 2.5 earthquake here off the coast of Bandon, Oregon. 2.5 minor earthquake here off the coast of Bandon, Oregon, here in the, I want to say possibly even call it the central Cascadia subduction area. The Cascadia subduction zone region. 2.5 minor earthquake. Not a big deal. Really not a big deal. But again, it's in the Cascadia subduction zone region. And heaven forbid we talk about it. Even the European people have taken off the map. The European people have taken off the map here. It's there. It's there. Just for kicks and giggles. Over in British Columbia, Canada, a 2.32 earthquake. 2.32 earthquake here. So let me back off on the USGS map here and take it north. USPS is not showing it, but a 2.32 earthquake here today. Interesting. We go south. Go further south here. Look what we're showing here. Allegedly an explosion. Maple Ridge, Canada. Let's zoom in here. This is a farming area. This is an agricultural area. Guess what? It's right next to a river. I don't think they're exploding anything. Maybe they have a spontaneous combustion ear of corn. Spontaneous combustion ear of corn here. No, guys, this is a 1.6 tremor here. 1.6 tremor here in the Cascadia subduction zone region. 1.6 tremor here in the Cascadia subduction zone region. It's here. It's here. To the south. Stillwater, Washington. 0.39 tremor there. 0.39 tremor there. Microquake. South there. Guess what? What do you think is south of there? What's south there? Right here. Good old Mount St. Helens. They're calling this a 0.57 tremor microquake. 0.57 microquake here. Mount Rainier. Fascinating. I'm not going to talk about this today. We'll talk about this week. But as I've showed you seismograms here in the past, it's not just microquakes here. We have minor earthquakes. We have a ton of microquakes. We have a ton of minor tremors. We have a ton of minor earthquakes. And we also have a ton of 3.0 earthquakes all around these volcanoes. Probably today we have at least one 3.2, 3.5 earthquake here at Mount Rainier. But heaven forbid they show it. They never do. They never do. Let's go further south here. Okay. This time I want to show you Mount St. Helens. Right there. No earthquakes. Interesting. Further east, Mount Adams. No earthquakes. Don't ever let it be said that these volcanoes aren't having earthquakes. They are. They are having earthquakes. Mount St. Helens and Mount Rainier are getting ready to erupt. Yet heaven forbid they show what's going on. They never do. They never do. Sad but true. Sad but true. Let's go over to the New Madrid Fault. Let's go over to New Madrid Fault. Now, let me take down the map here. Right here. This is Marktree, Arkansas. Marktree, Arkansas has been having 3.0 earthquakes for years. For years. We've been reporting on these earthquakes for about 2 years now. 2 years. Marktree, Arkansas is having 3.0, 3.5 earthquakes every day. Multiple small earthquakes here every day. Yes, in the past, we've reported on not just small earthquakes, but even moderate earthquakes here at Marktree, Arkansas. Yes, they do have large earthquakes here. Why? Because it just so happens this is over here on the New Madrid Fault. The central precipice of the New Madrid Fault. You can see these earthquakes here. These large earthquakes you can see here, they've cut off the top, they cut off the bottom of these earthquake sequences. That's because they don't want us to see what's actually going on. I've proven this in the past. These smaller sequences here, long drawn out sequences, long duration tremors and minor earthquakes. Long duration tremors and minor earthquakes. Up at the top black line here, we have tremors and we have minor earthquakes. 2.0, 2.4 earthquakes here on the black line. On the blue line to the right, we have tremors and one 2.5 earthquake there. Now that blue earthquake there was just part of it. This earthquake right here started at just after 12:46. I'm not sorry, 12:36 p.m. Or I'm sorry, 12:36 a.m. This blue line here is 12:36 a.m. But it also continues over here on the green line here. So here on the blue line, we have a 4-minute time period. On this green line, it goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 minutes. So now we have a 10-minute time period of earthquake sequence. 10 minutes. Now the final 10th minute here. Let's put that down as a secondary wave. The secondary wave here lasted 2 minutes. This was at least a 3.2, 3.5 earthquake, because the secondary wave tells us it was a larger earthquake than they're showing, meaning they turned down the seismograph. A seismologist turned down the seismograph here. Heaven forbid they tell us the truth. They've done this many times. You can also see this happen again on this red line here. Okay. This red line here is 6:15 on the left-hand side, over here on the right. Okay. Now we're talking about 6:25. 6:25. We had tremors. Then we had a 2.6, 2.7 quake. Then we had a 2.9, 3.0. Then we had 3.0 earthquakes here, and I believe we even wrapped up to having 3.5 earthquakes here, because the top and the bottom of these sequences have been cut off. They've been cut off. We don't see the top and the bottom, so we have no idea how strong they were. Just judging by what we see here, they were at least 3.0, 3.5 earthquakes. Then over here on the left-hand side, on the blue line, that starts at 6:30. We have a minute and a half of 3.0 earthquakes here. Then we have a secondary wave. That secondary wave lasts another minute and a half to 2 minutes, which means this was at least a 3.5 earthquake. 3.5 earthquake. Then down here after 8:30, again on the blue line. On the blue line, we have another earthquake. Good sized earthquake. 8:38 a.m. this morning. 3.2, 3.3 earthquake here. 3.2, 3.3 earthquake. Yes, we have tremors here as well. Marktree, Arkansas. They're happening. They're literally happening all over the Pneumatic Fault. Now, I'm going to highlight only those earthquakes on the Pneumatic Fault that are bigger than a 2.0. I'm not going to spend much time showing you the tremors, but I'm going to show you 2.0 larger. Why? Because 3 years ago, people would ask me what's going on with the Pneumatic Fault, and I say nothing. Nothing. Because all that was happening here on the Pneumatic Fault 3 years ago was tremors. 1.0, 1.5, 1.7 tremors, nothing more. Nothing more. But now you can see we are getting into earthquakes that are felt. 3.0 earthquakes and larger. 3.0 earthquakes that are larger here on the Pneumatic Fault. They're being felt literally all over. All over. That's what we're seeing. Let's keep going here. Let's drop down to Truman, Arkansas, to the south. Look at this. Now, up until about 6 months ago, all we were seeing here in Truman, Arkansas were minor earthquakes, 2.0, 2.5 earthquakes. Now, as you can see, we're seeing 3.0 earthquakes as well. Yes, they're still seeing tremors here, but they're also seeing 3.0 earthquakes and larger here. Truman, Arkansas. Let's go further south. Tyrone, Arkansas. Look at this. Now, folks, yes, we are seeing some minor earthquakes here. 2.0, 2.6, 2.7. We're also seeing some minor tremors here, and even microquakes here in Torrance, Arkansas. In the past weeks, we've also seen some 3.0 earthquakes here. We've seen some 3.0 earthquakes here. That's what's happening. Linda Covington's here in the chat saying they're turned down and cropping the images. Yes, they're turning down the size graphs here and cropping the sequences to make them look smaller. Okay, Central Arkansas. It's going on all over, guys. It's all over. Let's go over to Guam, Missouri. Look at this. These are minor earthquake sequences, but they are long and drawn out here. Some of these sequences are 3 or 4 minutes. Other of these sequences are as much as 5 or 6 minutes long. Look over here on this blue line near the bottom here. Let's zoom in here. Let me show you. Now, this earthquake here happened after 8 a.m. this morning. Okay. We have a 3.0 earthquake here, don't we? The top and the bottom of this sequence has been cut off. These are at least 3.0 earthquakes here. Back to back and ongoing. 2 minutes worth of earthquakes here. Now, if we go over here to the right side of this earthquake sequence, we have nearly 3 minutes of secondary wave, which means this earthquake sequence was larger than they're talking about. Larger than they're talking about here. The images themselves say we have 3.0 earthquakes here and larger. They cut the bottom and the top. That is an I sequence here where we say they cut off the bottom and the top, which means it's larger. Yes, it is. But the secondary wave here tells us this earthquake sequence was 3.5, maybe larger than that. 3.5 earthquake sequence here, maybe larger. Okay? They are hiding information here on the pneumatic fault. They don't want us to see exactly what's going on. They don't want us to see anywhere at all. But when we have a major earthquake fault such as this, they are hiding the data. They are hiding the data, literally everywhere. Let's go over to the north side. The pneumatic fault goes north, and then it goes like this. Right at that bend to the east and north of there is a place called Kewanee, Missouri. Right there. Look at this. Again, this is a central pneumatic fault. Look at this earthquake sequence. Starts over here to the right on the red line. Imagine that. Imagine that. We start seeing substantial tremors after we get over here to about 12, I want to say 12:20, say 12:27 a.m. this morning. He gets over here at 12:29, 1.4, 1.5 tremors. Comes over here to this blue line here on the left-hand side. That is 12:30 this morning. 12:31, we have 1.6, 1.7 tremors. 12:32, we have 2.0 earthquakes. 12:33, we have 2.5, 2.7 earthquakes. Before we get over here to 12:34, We're already seeing the agency cut off the bottom and the top of this sequence, meaning we had 3.0 earthquakes at this point. Then off to the right, it goes down back down to 2.5, 2.7 earthquakes here. And off to the right, we have a long secondary wave, don't we? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 minutes long. Meaning that 3.0 sequence was larger. 3.7, 3.8 earthquake. 3.7, 3.8 earthquake here in Kewanee, Missouri. The central pneumatic fault is moving. It's moving a great deal. As I said before, 3 years ago, all we had were tremors here, and now we're seeing full-blown small earthquakes. And they're getting larger. They're getting larger. We've even seen upwards of moderate 4.0, 4.5 earthquakes here on the pneumatic fault. And they're going to get that way more frequently. As I said before, given what we know already that's happened within the last 3 years here on the pneumatic fault, I don't think we can go much more than 2 years without seeing a major earthquake sequence here on the pneumatic fault. We're talking about an 8.0 earthquake that could happen here on the pneumatic fault within the next 2 years. I don't give it much more than 2 years. We already seen 3.0, 3.5, even 4.0s. Yes, we've seen 4.0s here on the pneumatic fault before. It's moving. How about Matthews, Missouri here? Same thing goes here, guys. The entire fault sequence is moving. Starts off with tremors, then goes to 2.0, 2.2 earthquakes, then immediately goes up here to 2.5, 2.7. Then over here on the right side, 3.0 sequence, and that 3.0 sequence lasted 1, 2, 3, 4 minutes long. 4 minutes long. The secondary wave here lasted 4.5 minutes, meaning we had 3.5, 3.7 earthquake here this morning. Early this morning here in Matthews, Missouri. And you can see another sequence on this black line after 4 a.m. 4 a.m., we had just 1.0, 1.2 tremors. 4:01, 1.3, 1.4. 4:03, those tremors got up to 1.7, 1.8. Within 30, 40 seconds, all of a sudden we had our first 2.9, 3.0 earthquake. That sequence lasted 2.5 minutes. 2.5 minutes to have 3.5 earthquakes. On the next blue line. 5:30 this morning. Again, we start off with tremors for about 4 minutes here. The tremors begin to have 2.4, 2.5 earthquakes, minor earthquakes. Then it ramps up. Again, we're seeing sequences that are cut off at the top and the bottom. Here at 7:30 over in the blue line here. 7:30 on the left-hand side, 1.0 tremors. The tremors continue to happen, 1.0 all the way up to about 7:06, 7:08 this morning. Then they get larger, 1.2, 1.3. Another couple minutes, we have 1.7, 1.8. 2.2, 2.3. 2.7, 2.8. Then we had a 3.0 sequence. Matthews, Missouri. the center part of the pneumatic fault. The whole fault's moving. Yet the USGS doesn't want to show it to us. Heaven forbid. Pires, Missouri. Pires, Missouri. Guess what? 3.0 earthquakes all over here. 4 of them. Earthquake sequences lasting 4 minutes. 2 to 4 minutes. Now here on the here on the East Coast and the West Coast, our large 5.0 earthquakes last about 2 to 3 seconds. Yes, we have small earthquake sequences as well. We're going to continue to see this kind of activity here on the East Coast as well. But the pneumatic fault is moving. The pneumatic fault is moving. Julie Jo says she can't understand their intended meaning. Julie, are you talking about tornado warnings or are you talking about earthquakes? If you don't understand the meaning, that means you're not schooled on where these, how long these lines are. I am telling you what these lines are. These longer lines are 3.0 and large earthquakes. Because they're cut off, that means the agency doesn't want to show us how strong these quakes are. These quakes that they cut off the top and the bottom of are larger quakes. At least 3.5 and larger quakes. They don't want us to know what's happening. They don't want anybody to know what's going on. Renee Steffi's talked about a tornado warning over in Antrim, Michigan. Antrim, Michigan. The upper north central part of the country here is having huge storms, thunderstorms and tornadoes here. Okay, I believe we're talking about South Dakota, Minnesota, Michigan, Wisconsin here. Tornado warnings. They're having thunderstorms in this region. With those thunderstorms causes hail, high winds, and tornadoes. Renee Steffi said the Weather Services issued another tornado warning. Adams, Ohio, Highland, Ohio, and Pike, Ohio. Those of you within the tornado warning areas, you need to take cover now. Take cover now. If you don't have a tornado shelter, go to the center part of your home, and if you have time, pull a mattress over the top of you. Because if your tornado hits your home or any part of it, you could rip the roof. You might have some timbers fall on your head. Let them fall on the mattress instead. Okay? Go to the center part of your home, away from all windows, away from all the doors, and stay there until the all clear is given. Stay there until the all clear is given, where you don't have wind howling over your head. You can hear it. You can hear it. The tornado itself sounds like a freight train. So stay in your shelter or stay in your center part of your home, possibly even in a bathroom. Possibly in a bathroom, pull a mattress in on top of you. Okay? Dina Wrong is calling the Bay Area strong, rattle along, dangerous Hayward fault where many people live. A 4.6 to 4.7 earthquake in the Hayward fault area of San Francisco. Okay, they downgraded to 4.3, 4.8 miles deep, southeast of Berkeley. Southeast of Berkeley. But again, I pointed out these earthquakes over here along the Pneumatic Fault. Don't forget what's happening. The Pneumatic Fault is moving. The Pneumatic Fault is moving. It's not going to stop. It's not going to stop. This is ongoing and it's not going to stop. Let's go over to the USGS map over here to San Francisco. San Francisco Bay Area. Okay. This is over on the eastern side of the Bay Area near Berkeley, California. Okay. Yes, I can see they've already downgraded this quake. They said it was a 4.6 earthquake. They've downgraded to 4.3. This is a big deal over here in Berkeley. This is still a 4.3 earthquake, whether they've downgraded or not. Moderate earthquakes can cause moderate damage. USGS is calling these light earthquakes. They're not anything like light at all. I consider light earthquake not to cause damage of any kind, but these moderate earthquakes, these 4.0 to 4.9 earthquakes, can cause damage. They can knock plaques and pictures off of walls. They can also knock books off of walls, out of bookcases. They can rattle your dishes and plates. If you don't already have a child-proof cupboard, make sure you put child-proof locks on your cupboard so here in California, you won't have your dishes and plates or your glassware fall out of your cupboards. That's what's happened here. Okay? Why do I not believe what USGS is doing? Let me go back to 2014. 2014 over in Los Angeles. They allegedly had a 4.5 earthquake. I just happened to be watching what was going on in Los Angeles that day, that evening. It was evening time. It was about 7 o'clock in the evening in Los Angeles. And over in Utah, where I was living, just south of Salt Lake here, I was about 40 miles south of Salt Lake. And I was watching it on the satellite cable, and it said a 4.5 earthquake. And about an hour or so later, I got a telephone call from Los Angeles asking me to fly to Los Angeles. There's a ticket waiting for me at the Salt Lake airport if I wanted it. And yes, I took that ticket. Flew to Los Angeles. They said that earthquake was a 4.5, and now I believe it's probably closer to a 5.0 to 5.4 earthquake. Why? Major damage up and down the entire fault line there along the Newport-Inglewood Fault. Windows popping out of homes. Plate glass windows breaking all over the greater Los Angeles area. Not just that. Gas mains and water mains breaking in the streets. Moderate earthquakes don't cause that kind of damage, but large earthquakes do. So when the USPS tells me that there's a light 4.3 earthquake or 4.6, don't buy it. Don't buy what they're talking about. Hold on a second, guys. Emergency management, is this an emergency? Hello? Guess it's not. They didn't bother answering. They called me, don't bother answering. That's typically what I see here on my phone is when they don't answer, that means it's spam. Probably some insurance company trying to get me to buy health insurance. Not going to happen. Not going to happen. Okay, just turn off my phone. Guys, stuff that happens here. I don't believe for a minute that this was a 4.3 earthquake. Not for even a minute. Okay? If they said this was a 4.6 earthquake, guess what? It was larger. It was much larger. They don't want us to know the truth of anything at all. Never. Not going to happen. European agency is also showing this to be a 4.29. They're showing this to be a 4.29. USGS has downgraded this to a 4.3. Europeans have it at 4.29. They're showing it to be a 4.3 here in the Berkeley area. Right alongside that, we have a 2.56 earthquake. 2.56 minor earthquake. Unreal. Down here to the south, okay, a 2.2 minor earthquake. This is a 2.6 here in Berkeley. This is a 0.9 microquake, 1.0 tremor. Okay. We've seen this kind of stuff before. This is ongoing. Now I cannot zoom in here close enough. It's not letting me get close enough here. Up here, right here. About 2 years ago, we had a 4.6 here underneath the football stadium in Berkeley, California. USC Berkeley. 4.6 earthquake here in the stadium. They lost some seats. The seats were bolted down to the concrete and the seats flew off. That was supposed to be a moderate quake. Yet the bolts loosened here at the seats. Interesting. Interesting. Now we've had another 4.6 here and USGS is denying it. Claim this is a 4.3. Interesting. I call it interesting, no cigar. No cigar. I'm not going to give it to them. Now I'm going to go over here to my own USGS map here because I can't do it here on this particular map here for you. But I'm going here on my own data here at home. Yes, they're still calling this a 4.3 here on my map here at home. But I'm going over to this back seismologist study page. How can you do that? You bring up the earthquake first. Over on the left-hand side of the USGS page, okay, it shows what the earthquake was. In this case, a 4.3 earthquake here in Berkeley. 1 mile east-southeast of Berkeley. 1 mile southeast, it's in Berkeley itself. Plain and simple. Okay? The USBS is saying over 30,787 people had filed felt reports. 30,787 people have filed felt reports. Interesting. We scroll down that same back seismology study page and click on the word origin. Then it brings up a origin page where you can look at actual magnitudes that the seismographs put it at. The seismograph is a machine that registers the strength of these quakes. We scroll down here. We go over here to the right and click on magnitudes. It has a 4.29 entry here, 52 stations reporting, no station details contributed. 4.29, that's a 4.3. But right beneath that, there's a 4.6 with station details, which means this was probably closer to the 4.6 earthquake. You click on station details. Now I'm going to tell you what it shows here. Okay? It's showing 4.58, 3.64, 4.3, 4.71, 4.36, 4.74, 4.61, 3.89, 4.94, 5.0, 4.82, 4.81, 3.66, 4.21, 4.76, 5.06, 4.85, 4.38, 2.09, 5.09 large quake. That's a second large 5.0 plus quake. Then it drops down to 3.45, 4.34, 4.93, which is a 5, 4.66, 4.89, 4.61, 4.35, 4.83, 4.5, and on here. And yes, there is even one seismograph that's showing 6.44. 6.44 magnitude quake. 6.44 magnitude earthquake. That is a very strong earthquake over in Berkeley, California. Now, when we see data coming off of a seismograph like that, that means it was probably at the epicenter of the quake. In order to have a data sheet like that, the data had to come from the center part of the earthquake at the epicenter. That's what I believe happened here. That's what I believe happened here. Now I'm going to try to do something for you here. I'm going to try to download this sequence onto a document and show you the document here. Okay, I've downloaded it. Okay, you can see where this earthquake happened here in Berkeley, California. Okay, I'm going to take down the USGS map here. You guys can still see my smiley face here. I'm going to pull up the document from my data file here on my computer. There it is here. Okay, again, this is from the backside seismologist study page of the USGS. Okay, these readings you see here in the second column from the right-hand side going left, that's a magnitude of the earthquake. The seismograph shows the magnitude of the earthquake when it hits. Go up here. It says a 4.3 earthquake, 2 kilometers, 1 mile east-southeast of Berkeley. Fascinating. A 4.29, meaning a 4.3 is what they want us to believe it was. No station details contributed. 52 seismographs reported the data. Interesting. Go down here to this where it says 4.63. This is what the earthquake came out as. USGS still wants to believe nothing happened here, that it wasn't a 4.63 at all. Look at here. 4.58, 3.64. This is the data I talked about just a minute ago. 4.3, 4.7, 4.36, 4.74, 4.61, 3.89, which is a small quake, 4.94, large quake. 4.94 is a large quake, 5.0, 4.81, 4.82, 3.66, 4.21, 4.76, 5.08, 4.11, 4.85, 4.38, 2.09, 5.09 large quake, 3.45, 4.34, 4.93, 4.66, 4.89, 4.61. Notice these are above 6, above a 4.6, 4.89, 4.61, 4.35, 4.83, 4.59, 4.1, 6.44. 6.44 magnitude here, guys. What does that tell you? That seismograph was sitting on top of the epicenter, most probably. Most probably. Okay? This just tells you what we're seeing they're not reporting. They don't want us to go into the back seismologist study page to see this. But that's what's happened. This is exactly what's happened, guys. They don't want us to see the data. Heaven forbid. Heaven forbid. Does anybody have any questions for me? Renee Sevi says the tornado warning continues for Atrium, Michigan. She says the tornado warning continues for Adams, Highland Park, and Pike, Ohio until 6:45 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, which is another 10 minutes. If you guys are living in Michigan, in that general area, I want you to make sure you're still undercover. Make sure you're taking this thing seriously. Tornadoes can kill you, or should I say unalive, to be politically correct. As you know, or most of you know, I'm not politically correct at all, and I won't be. Not going to happen. Not going to happen, not in a long shot. Not ever. I'm not politically correct and never will be. Does anybody have any questions for me? Okay. Now, we talked about Charlie Kirk. I want to tell you this. According to data from the FBI director, he already said they are also investigating 2 other people with possible GUNs. They're investigating two other people that had nugs at the scene of that shooting in Arizona. They now have 20 people that they are questioning. They made 2 arrests, possibly 3. And now they have another video of a man running from the scene with a bag on his back, a shoulder bag on his back, with a long belt hanging out of this bag, a long belt, a camouflage belt, an army rifle belt hanging out of the bag. Also on his right hand was a glove. Fancy that, a glove. Interesting. Why would anybody be running with a very heavy bag and a gun belt hanging out of the bag with your glove hand, with his, actually I should say it's gloved hand, his right hand, which is probably his right hand, he's right-handed, wearing a glove. Rubber glove. Why would you be wearing rubber glove running through a quad area of a college campus in 75, 80-degree temperatures in Arizona? Interesting. Interesting. I've never seen that happen before. I've been a cop for a long time. Once a cop, always a cop. I don't even pretend that I'm still a cop now. I'm a retired police officer. I have investigated all kinds of crimes, and I still do. But now, we have a man that's been unalived that's also buried now. Shot by at least one man. Maybe there were other people involved there. Very good possibility other people were involved here. What I'm saying here. Yes, there were other people. A lot of other people. And now we have more video out. Kash Patel is saying we have more video out. And there may have also been another person. Incredible. Incredible. This is a statement from Kash Patel. As the director of the FBI, I'm committed to ensuring the investigation into Charlie Kirk's assassination is thorough and exhaustive, pursuing every lead to its conclusion. The full weight of America's law enforcement agencies are actively following the evidence that has emerged, but our efforts extend far beyond initial findings. We are examining every facet of his assassination. We are meticulously investigating theories and questions, including the location from where the shot was taken and the possibility of accomplices. The text message confession and the related conversations, the Discord chats, the angle of the shot and the bullet impact, how the weapon was transported, hand gestures observed as potential signals near Charlie at the time of his assassination, and the visitors to the alleged shooter's residence hours leading up to September 10th. Some details are known today, while others are still being pursued to ensure every possibility is covered and considered. Our primary focus is to complete this investigation and deliver justice, to protect the integrity of the investigation and subsequent prosecution. We cannot release every piece of information we have to the public right now. We will ensure every question is addressed at the appropriate moment. Now, some of you might have heard about a plane that turned off its transponder. Regarding specific details such as questions about the plane that allegedly turned off its transponder after departing from the Provo airport near just south of the assassination site, we can share updates when answers are confirmed. After interviews with the pilot and consultation with the FAA, we determined that the transponder was not turned off. Incomplete flight data in rural areas has caused the apparent gap. The entire staff of the FBI mourns the loss of Charlie Kirk. We will not rest until justice is served, and our investigation into this assassination will continue until every question is answered. That is a statement from Kash Patel, the FBI director. It's ongoing. It's not finished. I want to make sure each one of us is well aware of what's going on. That's why I gave you this information on an ongoing basis, and I will continue it. Does anybody have any questions for me? Do we have any questions? Dinarana is asking, did they settle the shooting in Butler, Pennsylvania? No. No. Why? Because the Biden White House FBI stopped it. The Biden White House FBI cremated the body within 7 days of the shooting. Cremated the body. Who does that? Who does that? But Biden's FBI did it. Christopher Wray, the former FBI director, has been fired. The former FBI director has been fired, and he's lost his pension. He was fired and lost his pension. He allowed politics to get in the way of doing his job. He told his agents to destroy information, i.e., cremate the body. Now Kash Patel can't even identify where the weapon is. Our present FBI director cannot identify where his weapon is. Incredible. Incredible. That's what happens when you have a corrupt president in charge. That's what happens when you have an FBI director that can be swayed to do other things than his job. Yeah. But now we have a president in charge that's not going to want this to happen. He said he's going to overturn every rock and every detail until everything turns out, until the investigation comes to a halt. It's not happened. We're nearly 2 weeks into the aftermath of the shooting. They would have us believe, not our FBI, but the other sources would have us believe that they got rid of the body. They haven't. They wanted us to believe that the body was not examined by a medical examiner. He was. Charlie Kirk went to a medical examiner, and I have proof of it. All of the elements are there. I believe we may have had at least 2 to 3 shooters, which is a conspiracy to commit murder. Surgery says we must vote smarter. You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. Do we have any other questions? My buddy Don Patoka is one of our mods here in this chat. I want to thank him for being here and all the other mods as well. We have a good group of people here as mods, the best mods in the business as far as I'm concerned. We call them the Mod Squad. Great group of people. From the east of England with our buddy Demon Catman, all the way around the United States and even over to Hawaii. Have a great group of people. We appreciate and love each one of you. You guys do a great job. Don Patoka says many government agencies are people too. And people are indemnified and held harmless regarding the final outcome, results they handle. Be astute. Be prepared. Discernment prevails. Remember that word, discernment prevails. Don't ever forget that. Discernment prevails. Dean Rana says they washed down the roof. Yes, they did. Almost immediately. Fortunately, there were pictures taken and video taken before they washed down the roof. They destroyed evidence. Arnold Smith's here in the chat saying a palm nug with a cable line trigger at close range, pre-set up prior to the event. All the geometry was calculated for the target zone. I showed you a picture of a man on Friday holding a palm gun in his right hand. Holding a palm gun in his right hand. Then he was going like this. Put the gun near his chest like this, with the barrel sticking out of the gun like this. Yeah. Yeah, that happened. It happened. Again, they want us to believe that nothing happened, nothing was going on. It was. Plenty of going on. They have at least 3 people now that they're looking at. They've made at least 3 arrests as well. It's not over. It's not over till the fat lady sings and the fat lady hasn't even started. That's a fact. That's a fact. Does anybody have any questions for me? Anybody have questions? Linda Covington is talking about entry wound versus exit wound. There was no exit wound. This also came out today. They told us about this morning. No exit wound. The medical examiner in Salt Lake City examined Charlie Kirk's body. They found no exit wound. Guess what? They found the bullet in Charlie Kirk's neck. He has one heck of a strong neck to stop that bullet. One heck of a strong neck to stop that bullet. That's why there was no exit wound. Okay? No exit wound. That's a good question, by the way. Thank you. Renee Seppi's reporting a severe thunderstorm warning issued today at 5:50 p.m. Central Time, which was just about right now. Coming out of Norman, Oklahoma for Archer, Texas, Baylor, Texas, 75-mile-per-hour wind gusts and half-dollar size hail. A severe thunderstorm warning has been issued by the National Weather Service out of Norman, Oklahoma for Archer, Texas, Baylor, Texas, 70-mile-per-hour wind gusts and half-dollar size hail. If you are in those areas, take cover now. Again, go to your tornado shelters. Go to the interior part of your home, away from glass windows and doorways. If you have time, pull a mattress in on top of you. Stay away from windows and doors. Stay away from windows and doors. Pull a great big huge mattress off your bed over the top of you to protect you and your children. Okay? Sergey says the news people are saying that the NUG doesn't exist. Bullcrap. I call bullcrap. They have one rifle in custody. They may have more. They have one rifle in custody and they may have more. Pico is asking, what does that wound indicate? He got shot in the neck. Left side of his neck, as far as we could see. Now that, I have not seen the autopsy results. I've not seen the autopsy results, but it appeared that the left side of his neck was where he got shot. Now that could have happened from that guy was out to the right, across about 20 feet away from Charlie Kirk at the time, with that palm gun. A palm gun sits in the palm of your hand like this. You can't see it, especially if it's up against your chest or anywhere else. But the barrel of the gun goes out between your fingers. That is the only way you can see that happen, and the video caught it. The video that was at Charlie Kirk's meeting there caught the palm gun. That's why we know about it. And the FBI also has a very good picture of the person. And they can match facial features to the database and find out who that man was. And he was wearing military fatigues at the time. So they probably know who he is. But that information hasn't been released yet. I say yet. Siri says I need to reread the thing that he put up here. One of the news people said that LAMO, that NUG doesn't exist, LOL. The news media can say whatever they want. As far as I'm concerned, the news media is part of the conspiracy. Yeah. Linda Cummings says red herring. Yeah. Harbor Girl says prayers for Erica and the children. I totally agree. The second to last speaker was Erica Kirk. Great lady, wonderful lady, who now has to raise 2 children without her husband. I believe she's doing a great job. Doing a very good job. She has Charlie Kirk's parents. I want to believe that she may have her own parents there as well. God bless her and their entire family. They're going to need it. Their wounds are just fresh. The wounds that the family and their close friends have are fresh. They're going to need Lord's blessings ongoing for quite a while. They're going to need our support and prayers. Never forget her. Never forget her. I want to go over to the 5th chapter in Hebrews. I want to go over verse 12. For when for the time ye ought to be teachers, ye have need that one teach you again, which be the first principles of the oracles of God, and are become such as have need of milk, not of strong meat. For every one that uses milk is unskillful in the word of righteousness, for he is a babe. Those that are unskilled in righteousness need milk. That's why the Lord taught us as he did. We need milk, not meat. May God bless us. May God be with us this day and always. I want to thank all of you that have been here with this program today. I've given you a lot of information. I didn't mention anything about PayPal before now. Near the bottom of your screen below this video today, you're seeing our PayPal address scrolling across the screen. We have 2 of them. rltnspdema at hotmail.com. That's one PayPal address. The other one is EMERMGMTASSOC591. PayPal.me EMERMGMTASSOC591. We also have our email address going across the bottom of your screen. Our email address is rltnspdema at gmail.com. rltnspd at hotmail.com, or PayPal. Our email address, rltnspdema at gmail.com. Our postal address, 504 Bethel Road, Box 401, Morganton, North Carolina. The zip code here is 28655. I've now given you the ways you can help support our channel here. I haven't seen any super chats here today, but you can support this channel by going over to PayPal and send us donations to our PayPal account. You can also go to our postal address and send us a letter or card, inserting a check or a cash or check into the center of your letter or your card and mailing it to us. Just don't put cash in an envelope by itself. Put a letter around that cash or check, and letting us know what you're doing with your preparedness, making sure you put here what you're doing with your preparedness activities. We want to know. Now, I want to be able to share that with other people if possible. So please don't hide your information. Okay? No, I'm not going to share your personal information with anybody, but I want to tell people how you are preparing and what you've done to prepare for emergencies and disasters. In the card, the same thing. In the card, you can insert a check or cash inside the card and send it to us. A lot of people still do that. We appreciate that. We got a check, or I shouldn't say check, a cash from Trish and Rich Killian the other day, last week. We appreciate that very much. Anything you can do to help contribute to the support of this program is greatly appreciated. We love you. We love you. God loves you too. If something happens tonight or in the morning, we'll come back on the air to tell you about it as soon as the information becomes available. And that earthquake in San Francisco Bay Area could get larger. That might be a foreshock. Understand that. So we may be coming on there later tonight or tomorrow to give you more information as soon as the information becomes available. Otherwise, we'll see you sometime after 4 p.m. Eastern Time tomorrow with another episode of Emergency Management Associates. Have a good night, everybody. I love you very much. Take care. God bless. We'll see you on the other side. Good night.